Hello everybody, this is Coach Kenneth. Movement is so very important. There's many people right now in the United States and perhaps even around the world that don't move enough to keep their body strong and healthy. When a person's in their 30s or 40s or 50s and they've been living life for a period of time, doing a 9-to-5 job, they might own a business, have some type of very important career. What oftentimes tends to take a back burner is their health, their fitness. They commit so much time and energy to developing a lifestyle that they neglect the most important thing, the most valuable asset that allows them to have that lifestyle in the first place. That's their health and that's their fitness. They don't work out, or they work out very little, or they go to the gym and they work out, they're doing more selfies than anything else because they're trying to build a social media platform and tend to neglect their health. But many people in the United States, they do very, very little exercise. And that's one of the reasons why the health crisis is so huge. Billions and billions of dollars are spent every single day on pharmaceutical drugs, on therapeutic procedures, on all types of things that can be actually prevented just if people just start to move a little bit more. Just get up off the sofa, get out the bed, commit 30 minutes of extra time, 15 minutes of extra time just to doing some type of physical exercise. And not just exercise, but eating what's called an oxygen and water-rich diet. Now, what is that? An oxygen and water-rich diet. Those are fruits, whole fruits and vegetables that are rich in oxygen and water, plus other nutrients that the body needs. See, most people and every person who has a medical illness or disease, they all have one thing in common. They all eat a highly processed diet, or they have what's called an oxygen and water deficient diet. Now, what's an oxygen and water deficient diet? Now, that doesn't even sound good when you think about it. But an oxygen and water deficient diet is pretty much a meat-based diet, because meats do not have oxygen and they do not have water. Because you have to cook the meats. You have to process these foods. And even if you have the carnivore diet, you're still not getting enough oxygen and water. So eventually, you might get some good results in the beginning. But for the long term, you're starving your body of the two most important nutrients that it needs most. Oxygen and water. You can only get that from whole fruits and vegetables. So when you change your diet to having more whole fruits and vegetables, eliminate the meats as much as you possibly can or altogether, your body and your health starts to thrive. But in addition to that, you got to exercise, family. You got to exercise. I know a lot of people don't like to exercise. A lot of people don't like to go to the gym and lift those heavy behind weights. They don't like the way it feels. They feel afterwards. They don't like that soreness, that pain. And many people actually run away from that. And I've had people tell me, Kenneth, I don't like feeling that soreness. Is there anything else I can do? Is there any hope for me? Well, you can have an immaculate diet. You can have the best diet in the world, but if you're not building your body, giving your body what I call positive stress, lifting weights or doing body weight exercises known as calisthenics, or something that builds the body, strengthens the muscles and the bones, then you're doing yourself a terrible and a huge injustice. Because your body's still going to break down. In order to maximize or optimize the nutrition that you're putting into the body, you got to build the body. You've got to strengthen the body. You got to contract those muscles. You got to do some cardiovascular aerobic activity. And that's going to help you optimize what your body is capable of doing. And most importantly, it's going to give you insurance against physical illnesses and diseases. And if you already have a physical illness or disease, it's going to help you be able to fight that a lot more while putting the proper foods inside the body at the same time. And those foods are oxygen and water-rich foods. So family, I know you might not like to exercise. I know you might not like the way it makes you feel, but you got to get up and keep it moving. 57 years I've been living on this planet. And exercise is a staple. It's something I've been doing every single day of my life since I was 8 years young. And I understand how important that is. Because it's now considered strange if you're in your 40s, 50s, maybe even 30s, if you're not on some type of pharmaceutical medication. Because statistically, it says that 70% of the United States population, that means men, women, and children, which is crazy, are taking at least one pharmaceutical drug. And within that percentage, about 40 to 60+% of people are taking 5 medications or more. And I know some people are taking 30+ medications every single day. So I thank God that I'm not in that number. That my family, my wife is not in that number. That my children are not in that number. Because when you learn how food impacts the body, when you learn and realize that food is the most powerful medicine you will ever have access to, and it's something that you eat every single day anyway, when you finally realize and understand the importance of what you're consuming on a daily basis, you make better decisions. Because when you know better, you're supposed to do better. But then there are those people who they know better and they still do wrong. And as a result of them doing wrong, they suffer because of it. They end up in positions that they don't want to be in. On medications, going through therapies, going through all types of different types of treatments, praying for a miracle when the answer was already there, but they just ignored it. They didn't want to do it. But now they're in a position where they wish they had, and they're fighting for their life. So make smarter decisions. Eat oxygen and water-rich foods. Cut down on the oxygen and water-deficient foods, which are meat, diets, and processed foods. And cut down on the alcohol. But matter of fact, leave the alcohol alone completely because alcohol is a neurotoxin. That means it kills nerve cells. And on top of that, exercise, family. Don't be afraid to lift those heavy behind weights. Don't be afraid to do some body weight exercises called calisthenics. And if you don't know what that is, or if you don't know where to start, find a trainer, find a coach. Matter of fact, if you're really serious about getting healthy and getting stronger, you can contact me. But you don't have to do any of that. Just start moving the body, be consistent, keep it moving, and all you do is win. Thanks for watching. This has been Coach Kenneth, 57 years young. Let's keep winning.